Dane Brugler of The Athletic recently published a new mock draft now that Dante Moore has announced he is returning to Oregon. So we're going to go through who he had the New Orleans Saints selecting at number 8, and then also talk about picks 1 through 7. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Gerard, and in case you guys missed the news, Dante Moore, he is returning to the Oregon Ducks, and this does directly impact the New Orleans Saints, and it is some bad news, and we have it linked below. I posted on the channel about it yesterday, and this is why you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Dante Moore and his decision, how it impacts the Saints. Check it out after this video if you want to learn a little bit more. Now, let's start things off by first going through the first 7 selections leading up to the pick where New Orleans makes their selection at number 8 overall. No changes outside of, obviously, Dante Moore is no longer in the mix. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana, he goes to the Raiders at 1. The Jets, since they can't take a QB, there's a huge drop-off in QB 1 versus QB 2, 3, 4. Arvell Reese, the defensive freak, he adds some juice to Aaron Glenn's defense. Spencer Fano, the tackle out of Utah, to the Arizona Cardinals. And then you have Carnell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, to give a little bit of extra depth to Cam Ward's offense. I know that he needs an extra weapon, so obviously that's a good selection in my personal opinion. Jordyn Tyson, the wide receiver out of Arizona State, he goes to the Giants, providing a little extra juice to the offense with John Harbaugh now at the head coach. Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami, he goes to the Cleveland Browns. David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech, he leaves Lubbock and heads up to Washington, and the New Orleans Saints at number 8 overall. Now that we know who all was taken off the board, they go with an offensive freak, Jeremiyah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. And first thing I want to say here is that I am okay with this selection. I would be happy with this pick. And for what it's worth, if the board falls like Dane Brugler just predicted it would, Jeremiyah Love at number 8 does not feel like a bad selection whatsoever. The New Orleans Saints, we do know, are operating under the best player available mentality. So for the Saints, if Jeremiyah Love is on the board at 8, there's a very good chance he is the best player available, and I think that he would be awesome in this offense led by Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson, Chris Olave, and the rest of the crew. Now, Dane Brugler had this to say about Jeremiyah Love and those New Orleans Saints. 3 years ago, a different NFC South team in the Atlanta Falcons drafted running back Bijan Robinson at number 8 overall, and he quickly ascended to being one of the league's top 5 players at his position. We could see that happen again with the Saints and Jeremiyah Love. With his pass-catching talent and home run ability, Love would give Kellen Moore's offense a shot of adrenaline. And quite frankly, that's what Kellen Moore's offense needs. They need a shot of adrenaline. What's been the big theme for the Saints? Slow starts, not high-scoring offenses, lack of explosive plays. You want to address that with one player? I think Jeremiyah Love could 100% do that. Now, grade the selection. Jeremiyah Love at number 8 overall, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give you my grade here in just 1 second, but I want to hear from you, the Who Dat Nation, the Golden Gang. Share your thoughts down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, you'll actually find the link to Prize Picks. If you download the Prize Picks app, use our promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. I'm grading the Jeremiyah Love pick here in just a second, but let me tell you about Prize Picks. They have a new feature. They have early payouts now, so if your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And guess what? Tomorrow, there's going to be a brand new deal for Prize Picks. Friday at 3 p.m. through Sunday, CJ Stroud just needs 1 passing yard to win, so add him to your lineups so you can maximize your payouts on game day. I love Prize Picks. You will too. And if you need some inspiration for how it works, I'm rolling with this Prize Picks selection. Josh Allen, Puka Nacua, if they both find the end zone, your boy's cashing in some money. But you can make predictions and make your Prize Picks based on passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, touches. You can do literally everything for these playoff matches, but it doesn't stop there. You can get in on the hoops action, Baseball, hockey, esports, doesn't matter. Prize Picks is the best place to enhance your game viewing experience and turn your takes into cold, hard cash. Download the app today. Use promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS on the Prize Picks app to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. The link is clickable in the comments and description of this video. Now, in case you guys couldn't tell, I love that selection. And I'm going to go ahead and grade it an A. Like, for what it's worth, if you take into consideration everything, with taking Jeremiyah Love at 8 overall for this specific mock draft, I think it's a home run selection. Because when you consider the players that were already taken, and you consider the player that is Jeremiyah Love and the impact he could have in this Saints offense, and especially considering the rushing attack is an area that needs to see some growth, I think that this is a home run selection. And other players on the board were intriguing. If you ask me, I am all in on either Jeremiyah Love or Caleb Downs. If it's one of those two players, I could care less. I'm a happy camper in April. But Ruben Bain Jr. is an intriguing option. Makai Lemon, Mansour Delane for us LSU fans out there. I think that when it comes down to the Saints selecting at number 8 in Dane Brugler's mock draft, I think he made the right selection. I am going to lean with Jeremiyah Love at 8 being the best call for the Saints in this mock draft. And I said it a minute ago, the Saints need to improve their ground game. The rushing attack was virtually non-existent for New Orleans, so much so that they ranked at the bottom of the league in most statistical categories. In yards per rush, they were second to last. They were 28th in yards per game. They were 23rd in rushes per game. They didn't rush the ball all that much because they didn't have the ability to run the ball all that much. And when you did try to rush the football, it was extremely unsuccessful. So the New Orleans Saints need to find ways to improve the ground game. Some of that is play calling. Some of that is the offensive line. Some of that is just simply the offensive talent that's available. And Jeremiyah Love, he could open up Kellen Moore's offense and make it so dynamic, and he could add so many new elements. You don't even just have to have him operate out of the backfield. Line him up as a receiver. Have some fun with it. He could be an asset in Kellen Moore's offense, and he could be such a nice tool next to Tyler Shuck in order to help him have a little bit more confidence, take some pressure off of number 6. When you talk about Jeremiyah Love and the impact he can make in New Orleans, I think it is astronomical, so much so that I probably couldn't even talk about it in full detail in this video. Now, we're going to talk more about Jeremiyah Love and the statistics and the reasons why I love this player and what other national media is saying about the running back out of Notre Dame. But really quick, got to check in on our 1,000 subs in a month goal. We're trying to get to 55,000 by the end of January. We have 16 days left. We need about, I think the math said 24 subscribers a day. We've been doing some really big damage. So help me out. Subscribe for 100% free if you're a diehard Saints fan and you want free Saints content by fans for fans. Now, Mel Kiper Jr., he loves Jeremiyah Love. He actually gave him a Reggie Bush comp, and I'm praying that it's the Saints Reggie Bush, the one where he's, leaping for 10 yards, 7 yards in Miami, versus the Reggie Bush we saw in Detroit where it wasn't really all that good. All in all, I think that it is a pretty good comparison because of the skill set that Jeremiyah Love has on top of his dynamic playmaking ability and how he can attack the ground, or he can attack and impact the offense on the ground, but also through the air. He has nice vision, really nice burst. His breakaway speed is off the charts. He can break tackles with ease. He's a high-impact pass catcher. He's somebody that will 100% improve this Saints offense. If you need a surefire pick, Jeremiyah Love will be a surefire selection. And we talked about him being a high-impact pass catcher. Look, it's not like he has been this game-breaking player as a receiving back, but he has 280 yards on 27 catches, 3 touchdowns for the Fighting Irish. I think that he's somebody that you could tap into that aspect into his game a little bit more, and Kellen Moore, being the offensive genius he is, I think would be a match made in heaven for Jeremiyah Love. Now let's look at the numbers over the course of his career for the Fighting Irish. In 2023, obviously didn't do all that much, but in 2024 and 2025, he was insane. Averaged 6.9 yards per run in 2024 and in 2025. And I think that he's somebody that absolutely needs to swap out the navy and gold for the black and gold. Averaged 5.5 yards per carry in 2023. I know that the production's down, but I will still take that type of productivity or efficiency, if you will. And as I said earlier, the New Orleans Saints, they're operating under the BPA mentality. They are in position to take the best player available. Right now, you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. You have your tackles for the future. You have your center. You have a wide receiver 1. You have a tight end. You have players across both sides of the football that can make an immediate impact that are really high contributors. But you need to take the best player available, whether it's offense or defense. Doesn't matter. The Saints need to focus on elevating the overall talent level in New Orleans, and they also need to focus on bringing in more playmakers and more dogs. I keep saying this. Bring me some dudes. Bring me some football players. Bring me some guys. Bring me some homies that will just suit up on game day, buckle that chin strap, and go and hit somebody on the other team. That's what I want. I want somebody who's going to show up on game day, that's going to get me fired up, somebody whose jersey I can buy, somebody that's going to get me something to cheer for in the early portion of next season. I'm really, really excited for the 2026 offseason and the NFL draft. It's less than 100 days away, so if you want more content, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications right here. And also give me a follow on social media. I post every single day on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search me up, Trizzy Trace, on your favorite social media platform, and you'll be able to find some of our content. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. My name is Trizzy for Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.